My name is Emily Turner, and I never imagined I would be the one telling this story. But after what I experienced during those minutes on the brink of death, I know I must share it with the world. What I saw changed everything I thought I knew about life, death, and the forces that shape our reality. It was a stormy night in November 2024. I was driving alone, the rain pounding against the windshield, lightning illuminating the sky in terrifying intervals. I shouldn't have left the house that day, but something was pushing me, an urgency I couldn't explain. The roads were slick, and the wind howled like a living thing, shaking my car as if it were made of paper. I remember gripping the steering wheel tightly, my knuckles white, my heart racing. I kept telling myself I just needed to get home, that everything would be fine. But then, it happened. My car hit a patch of black ice. I lost control. The world spun in a blur of headlights, rain, and the deafening sound of metal crunching against metal. I remember the airbag exploding in my face, the smell of smoke, and then nothing. Everything went black. When I opened my eyes, I was no longer in the car. I wasn't even in the world as I knew it. I was in a place that defied all logic, all explanation. It wasn't a place of peace or light, like I'd always heard in near-death experience stories. It was a storm, dark, chaotic, and filled with an overwhelming urgency. The sky above me swirled with shades of black and gold, lightning crackling in every direction. The ground beneath my feet was unstable, shifting like sand, and the air was thick with tension. I could feel it, the weight of something monumental happening around me. I was in the middle of a spiritual battle, something so intense I could barely breathe. All around me, beings were fighting. Some shone with a light so bright I could hardly look at them. They moved with grace and purpose, their presence filling the air with warmth and hope. Others were shadows, dark and malevolent forms that seemed to twist and shift as they moved. Their eyes glowed with a cold, calculating malice, and every movement they made was filled with destructive intent. I could feel the tension in the air, the struggle between good and evil, between forces of light and forces that sought to destroy everything. It was as if the universe itself was at war. I stood there, frozen, unable to move or speak. I wanted to run, to hide, but there was nowhere to go. The storm raged around me, and I could feel its power, its anger. It wasn't just a physical storm, it was something deeper, something spiritual. It was a reflection of the chaos in the world, of the pain and suffering and division that seemed to be everywhere. And I realised, with a sinking feeling in my chest, that I was part of it, that we all were. And then, he appeared. In the midst of the chaos, a radiant figure approached. It was Jesus. His presence was so powerful that the storm around him seemed to quiet. He wasn't just a man. He was something more, something divine. His eyes were filled with compassion, but also with a deep, unshakable authority. He looked at me, and in his gaze I saw something I had never felt before. A love so deep and unconditional that I could barely endure it. It was as if he knew every part of me, my flaws, my mistakes, my doubts, and yet he loved me completely. "Emily," he said, his voice calm but carrying an authority that echoed through my entire being. "This storm is not just a natural disaster, it is a warning. The world is on the brink of destruction, not because of physical forces, but because of spiritual apathy. People have forgotten the true purpose of life, and the forces of darkness are using this to pull them away from what truly matters." As he spoke, images began to form around me. I saw cities destroyed by conflict, families torn apart by hatred and greed. I saw people consumed by materialism, chasing after things that could never truly satisfy them. I saw the earth itself groaning under the weight of humanity's sin, forests burning, oceans polluted, animals driven to extinction. And in the midst of it all, I could see the shadows, the dark beings, smiling as if they were winning. But Jesus didn't stop there. He showed me something more, hope. He showed me people helping one another, communities coming together, hearts turning back to God. I saw a mother forgiving her son after years of estrangement. I saw a group of strangers risking their lives to save others during a natural disaster. I saw a young man kneeling in prayer, tears streaming down his face as he asked for forgiveness. These moments were small, but they were powerful. They were like sparks of light in the darkness, reminders that it wasn't too late. "It's not too late," Jesus said, his voice firm. "But people must turn back to God. They must truly repent and seek faith. Only then can the storm be calmed." I wanted to ask him more, to understand what I was supposed to do, but before I could speak, the storm around me began to fade. The light grew brighter, and I felt myself being pulled away, back toward the world I had left behind. And then, I woke up. I was back in the real world, surrounded by paramedics who could hardly believe I was alive. They told me I had been clinically dead for 12 minutes. 12 minutes. But those minutes changed everything for me. Since then, I've carried this message with me. The storm, both literal and spiritual, isn't over. The warning is still here, and the choice is ours. Will we continue down the path of destruction, or will we turn back to what truly matters before it's too late? I don't know if people will listen to me, if they'll believe me, but I know I have to try. Because what I saw in that storm was real, and if I don't share it, if I don't try to make a difference, then everything I experienced will have been in vain. The storm can be calmed, but only if we choose to turn back to the light.